Pretty pays. Mm-hmm. Pretty pays, baby.
Okay, Jacqueline.
Okay.
Is beauty a weapon or a warning?
Ooh, a weapon or a warning? Can it be something else?
Sure. It can be anything you want it to be.
I don't know if it's a weapon. Definitely not a warning. Maybe a advantage?
Yeah, and I think that's what we need to talk about. Does beauty create an unfair advantage?
Ooh, ouch. Yeah, that one stung. Yeah, I definitely can see that.
Does pretty pay?
Pretty does pay.
Does pretty not pay?
Pretty does pay, and I'll tell you, I have a story for that.
Okay.
But you go ahead. Tell me what you were going to say.
No, that was my question to you.
Okay. Real life scenario.
Okay.
When I got brought onto a project, really amazing, fun, like, oh my gosh, I get to really be creative. This is what I'm thinking.
Yes.
I get to be creative. They brought me on for my expertise, and I'm just thinking business and, what I represent, when it comes to the things that I do in the brand.
Sure.
Well, so they sent me the last person that is going to basically seal the deal, do all the negotiations with me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yes, we looked you up, and you're easy on the eyes. Wait, what?
Okay.
He said you're easy on the eyes, and he's like, you have a really nice smile. And
what does that have to do with it?
Well, because a lot of it was kind of being the face of the project, right?
Okay.
So we can definitely get behind you being the face of the project.
Okay.
Okay. I felt so uncomfortable because that was the first time somebody ever said that out loud and felt confident saying it. But it was interesting the way that he said it. He did not say it in a disrespectful way, but he said it in a very kind of media-centric way.
Sure.
Yeah. And so that's what that brand needed, was more media-centric, and he was okay with something that's easy on the eyes.
And were you okay being easy on the eyes? Did you go forward with the project? What happened?
I did go forward with the project. I did. But you know what? It's interesting that you say, does pretty pay? Because I do also have to say, I've gotten into interesting rooms and interesting situations because I was tall, too.
Oh.
So being a tall woman, that has also been a very big benefit for me also. And then being in high heels. So naturally, I'm 5'6.5". I say I'm 5'7".
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell people, on a good day, and always, you will never catch me less than 5'11".
Wow.
Because I always have heels on, so nobody ever sees me. I mean, outside of business, they don't see me out of high heels. So I'm always the tallest woman, It's rare that I get into a situation with a taller woman or somebody equally as tall as me.
Do you think a woman who doesn't dress up, doesn't wear heels, doesn't wear makeup, do you think she's treated differently than a woman who does?
I think so. I think society, whether you're a man or a woman, I think society does treat people that are good looking a different way, but also good and bad, because when you think about it, you could be treated as somebody that's just easy on the eyes and not really taken seriously for your intelligence, what you can bring to the table, how you're a creator. You're just there as a kind of like a thumbnail in a sense. And that doesn't feel very good either. So on the flip side, it can be taken as a disadvantage, but also it can get you into the room, get you into the door, and then you could show them the magic of who you are.
And that's what I was going to say as well, is like, I think that pretty gets you in, but then what happens after that depends on several different things. And part of it is like what you were saying. Okay, is somebody just looking for a pretty face, or are they actually open to see what you're about, your intelligence, what you have to offer business-wise, or in whatever scenario that you're in? I know I've had situations where I've definitely gotten attention, and it's also been, I guess, that they don't know what to do with it when you're both.
Smart, brilliant, beautiful, and
Yes.
kick butt.
Yes. And I've even seen this from other females.
Yes.
So I remember a specific time when I went into the courtroom and I gave an argument, and it was a well thought out argument. I had really practiced on it and everything. And after I finished, I went, took my seat, and another female lawyer, a colleague actually, who I knew, came up to me and she goes, "Wow, you sounded really smart." And I was like,
You sounded.
"Is that a dig?" But
You
she didn't mean it
sounded really smart.
as a dig. I think she honestly just meant, okay, I see you, but you also are able to sound eloquent, speak well, and carry out an argument. And it was like,
Interesting.
What do you do
She's
with that?
smart and
Yeah.
pretty. What do you do with it? No, you know what? I've actually been in situations where I'm like, wow, this is a good looking person, you
Yes.
know? And I'm like, gosh, they're going to bring a lot to the table. Even me thinking that, you know? And then we start working, things start unfolding, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this person knows nothing about this. And,
yes,
you know, so I think being good looking is sometimes can get you into situations, but you better be able to deliver. You better be able
well,
to
how
deliver.
about this? Should we use that? Is that us weaponizing? Is that us using something that we shouldn't?
You know, that's so hard because it's like you were obviously born good looking, and you've been put into situations that your credibility has gotten you there, has gotten you the opportunity. Being good looking has had an advantage, I can only imagine. But you also are able to deliver. So I think that combination is powerful. But I can say this, there are, like, even for me at times when I was giving birth and having kids and I wasn't at my best weight, you know,
Oh, definitely.
and felt like ragged as a mom, like I wasn't taking care of myself, like I definitely was not looking my best. But because of my personality and very welcoming to people, but also my credibility of work ethic, I think continued to get me in those doors. So I think it's what you make of it also, you know? I don't
Yeah.
think you have to be good looking for opportunities. I think you can have a good personality or be flexible and also be really good at what you're doing, you know?
Definitely. It's not only that, like, we're talking about there's a lot of different factors. But I definitely, and it's not that I feel guilty about it, but I kind of do. Because I had a situation when I was a young attorney, we would be assigned to court. And so we would see basically the same. I was a prosecutor, so I worked for the state of Texas in a county. And so I would see the same defense attorney. We would try cases against each other every single day. So I had a jury trial, and I wore a white suit, all white,
Ooh.
and it was a skirt suit. And I tried this case. And after I finished the case, there was like 4 or 5 jury members that came up to me afterwards, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you look like an angel. You were so beautiful." And then I look over at my counterpart, my adversary, and he's like, you know,
He should have wore the white suit.
he's like, "How can I compete with that, Amber?" And so I did feel a little guilty, but it's like, do we work with what we got? I mean, do we
say
use that to our
yes.
advantage?
I say hell yes.
I mean, a man would do it, wouldn't they?
Yes, I think so. And they do. What
And
are you
they
talking
do.
about?
So, yeah.
They do. No, I think it is an advantage. And I think also people try to make you feel guilty about it too, because I remember there was a gal recently that said, people only work with you because of your smile or because of your personality or because of whatever. And I'm like, you know, to me, that's like such a
Dig.
Yeah, like let's say that it's such a dig. It's so, I feel kind of disrespectful in a sense because it's like I've worked very hard to get to where I'm at,
Right.
you know, and to do what I'm doing and to be summed up as a nice smile or easy on the eyes or, you know, things like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Jacqueline, what about this? Why do appearance and authority clash for women?
Say that again.
Why do appearance and authority clash for women?
Ooh, I don't know. For me, I feel like yeah. That's a loaded
I'm
question.
jumping in there because I think that societal norms say that you can't have both. And I think it goes back to the intelligence that we were talking about as well. People didn't expect you to be pretty and smart. But I think that they can't take you being the authoritarian and being a good-looking person. It's just hard for people to like see both. And I don't know exactly what drives that.
Well, I think that's definitely societal norms, right? Because what's out in marketing right now? Marketing is sex sells and sex appeal and things like that, easy on the eyes, all of that stuff, right? So that's what sells. Skinny pays, all that pretty pays, all of that, stuff that's out there in marketing right now. And so I feel like that's societal norms, right? But when I think about it, also those are disadvantages and kind of is like sexism, right? In a sense. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like unpacking that's a whole conversation.
Well, that brought me to thinking about something else, and we've talked about this in the past. So let's look at the Kardashians. Let's look at Kim Kardashian.
Yes.
Obviously they made their money to begin with on appearance, other
Sex
stuff.
scandal.
Yes. But she was able, and they've all been able to create these massive empires.
Yes.
And so they do have guts, audacity, all of these things. So they've been able to prove the pretty pays only world wrong, wouldn't you say?
No, definitely. And when you even look at the example that you just said right now, which is the Kardashians, they really also had to prove themselves in a lot of different ways. They had to prove that they weren't just here off a sex symbol. They were having to prove that they could actually be smart. And when you think about it, Kim Kardashian, she is a billionaire. I mean, how many billionaire women are here in the world, right?
Not many.
Let alone the United States. So she is a part of that, and they've built an empire. And people could attack how they built that empire, but they are branded like up and down from left to right all the way, And they've created an amazing brand for themselves, which says you have to have some intelligence, And I want to go back to the disadvantage. I feel like one of my biggest disadvantage of being okay looking, or what should we say, easy on the eyes, easy on the eyes, and being young, trying to find mentors. There were mentors that were brilliant men, and I was like, I need to learn from them. I need to get everything that I can from them, but they would not step foot like in arm's reach of me. They would not mentor me. And one person actually told me they would not mentor me because I'm a woman. And I was like, well, what does that have to do with anything? And he said, because I don't want people to think the wrong thing about me and you being together, like in a room or in a meeting or whatever. And I'm just like, how am I being disadvantaged in this situation,
Right, you were.
And so to me, that I felt that a lot with other men that I wanted to be mentored by. I felt that kind of like arm's length from them, where I wasn't invited to go golfing. I wasn't invited to go play tennis. I wasn't invited, obviously, to go smoke cigars, but
Definitely.
but I had missed out on those opportunities, which were mentor opportunities, and I couldn't get that valuable access to information because I was a woman that was easy on the eyes.
Wow, I hadn't thought about it from that perspective.
Yeah.
But I think definitely with being pretty, it's not necessarily a disadvantage, but it definitely creates more work for you because you have more to prove.
Oh my gosh, 100% more to prove. I remember even a gentleman that needed my services, but he would not ask for the services and wouldn't. I offered my services to them, but then later to find out that he had felt like an attraction to me, and I'm like, well, what does that attraction have to do with work? Like, hold your horses over there, buddy. Let's do some business together. So it's actually prevented some business for me and money towards my family, towards my kids, because I was a woman and somebody felt attracted to me and they didn't want to be in that space where they
Ooh, have
might
you ever
act
had to
upon
get
me.
out?
Um,
I had one a little bit.
Tell me what's your one?
No, I had a mediation with a client, and it was a full day mediation. So it was like 8 hours with
Oh
the same
gosh.
person in a room alone, basically the entire day. And it was one of those situations similar to what you're talking about, and the person's just constantly giving you accolades, just being
Buttering you up.
inappropriate, compliments, and it's just there's nowhere you can go, and it's just like so uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've definitely handled myself very well, but again, it goes back to what was your blueprint, right? So what was my blueprint in the beginning was I would wear oversized clothes, I would wear
Yes.
business suits, I would not wear low-cut shirts, no short skirts. And I mean, when I say short skirts, nothing above the knee or
Right.
nothing even at the knee, if I even wore a dress or a skirt, because I had to feel like that was my protection against anybody that thought something.
Yeah, so let's think about this, because when we started, kind of going back to our blueprint, how we've transitioned, how we've evolved,
Yeah.
I feel a similar way that you do. So when I started, it was all about being conservative, that whole blending in, that not standing out, and was
Yeah.
afraid to wear leopard print heels, anything low cut, anything that not that I will dress like that every day, but certain things that I like, show a little flair, show a little color,
Style,
a little
fashion.
style, a little fashion. It's okay to like that, to want to dress like that. But back then, it was all about not sticking out, and just like you said, being conservative. It was so bad that even we were told by judges. I remember when I very first started that we had to wear pantyhose. You could not be in court as a woman without
Bare legs.
pantyhose. Yes, you could not have bare legs.
Oh
So
my
things have
gosh.
changed a little. But, over the years, it was kind of like figuring it out with yourself, coming into your own, being okay with who you are
Yeah.
in business and work, and being okay saying, hey,
This
I
is
want
who I am,
to
yeah.
dress like this sometimes.
I feel confident with my body and
Yes.
the fashion that I like. I mean, imagine what kind of policy would be put in place for a handsome man. You have to wear a mask to work? You can't go
Yeah.
bare skin? I mean, what does that look like? No, seriously though. If you have a
No.
good-looking man or, a good-looking physique, do you have to hide your muscles or your pecs, or I don't know, like what does that look like?
I don't know.
So why is there no policy for that?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so, okay. Do women judge other women harsher, do you think? What do you think about that?
I think yes, and especially in the past. But I do think that that's changing more now.
Changing how so?
I think it's changing a little for the better, because I think now that we're seeing more women in business, more women running things, just like we were talking about that new show, the All's Fair
Oh,
show.
yes.
I mean, and the fact that we are championing women, and most of the women that we're talking to are championing other women.
Yeah.
I think that it's becoming less of a looking down or making judgment, and more of a, ooh, I like that. Or I like that she did that, or I like that she said that, or, I could get behind that. And that's
Yeah.
exciting, I think, as a woman.
I think every human being has their own cards to play with, and I think once you understand what those cards that you've been dealt are, how do you play that hand? So is it a disadvantage? Should you feel guilty? And a lot of people would even take this episode as, oh my gosh, look at Amber and Jacqueline. They're so cocky, And I don't think it's a real conversation, and
Right.
it's about being aware of the real conversation, right? So the conversation isn't about, oh God, Amber's so pretty. It's about, what do you do with that, and how do you even have those conversations, let alone how does a person that does have that advantage, how have they been disadvantaged, and also losing opportunities because of that,
True. And we both have daughters. So I have 2 daughters. And so how is it, Jacqueline, that you had any of these types of conversations with your daughters about how they might deal with their looks going into business, into life, into anything?
Gosh, I think that's so scary, right? Because when you and I were kids and we were growing up, beauty wasn't beauty was in a magazine, you know, and it wasn't like how it is today. You have social media that is strongly influencing our young people, even people our age. It's influencing them, right? And now you see beauty in a whole different aspect, a whole different way. So how do you take all of that and then make your own judgment on that, and what does that look like? So when I talk to my daughters, it's hard because I'm saying education, I'm saying work on yourself, be aware of who you are, but society is saying you're gonna become a TikTok influencer. You're going to make millions on your body and how you look and how in shape you are and, you know, the beauty that you are. When I think of today, you have these TikTok reels and all this social media that's get ready with me, you know?
Yes.
And so even I'm addicted to it because I've learned how to do certain facial stuff and how to apply makeup, you know? So those are great, but also that's what society is seen as beauty too. So, and then think about what beauty is as well. How many people are you seeing that have the same BBL and the same mommy makeover and all of that stuff? And that's a whole topic in itself.
Right.
Do you get a mommy makeover? Like, is it worth it? Why are you getting this mommy makeover? So that you can feel confident on your own? Or because you want to look better in photos?
This is true.
Which one would it be for you?
I think I would like to get one, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I have this area, and I mean, we've had babies. Most women have, and it's no matter what you do, it's still there, and it's right here. You know,
Yes.
and I can't get rid of it, no matter what I do.
Yeah.
And so do I have to have that? Is it okay to not want to? I mean, I think so.
So are you, because you have the money to go and take care of that, does that make you a villain? Does it make you somebody that worries about like your, you know, your orientation and how you look and pretty?
I think no matter what you choose and what you want to do, as long as you're okay with it, then everyone else should be okay with it.
Yeah.
So if you want to have the BBLs, if you want to have, I mean, we can go the other way because we've talked about this too, because you have a friend and I have another also sorority friend who had a breast reduction.
Yes.
But, you know, all of these things, you know, if you're doing them for yourself, then I think it's okay.
Well, on that topic, the person that I do know that had a breast reduction, she actually got the breast reduction because she is so drop dead gorgeous, and her breasts were huge. So she really looked like a sex symbol, right? In what she felt like she was getting opportunities, but they were not for good reasons. And she was in big business, you know? And so being in big business, she felt like the guy would lean over her too hard or kind of brush up against her. And it's like, I'm here because I'm serious about my craft, but you're choosing me because I'm easy on the eyes, you know? And so she got a breast reduction because of that. So these are things that I think others don't think about when it comes to what is the tax you pay for being drop dead gorgeous. You know?
That's tough.
Yeah.
So were you a part of the conversation before she decided to do that?
No. She told me after, because I knew she was going to get something done. I didn't know she was getting a reduction. And so then when I came back and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, what happened to your boobs? she's like, I got a reduction. I'm like, wow, like why? I mean, that triggered, because
questions.
usually it's the opposite. People are
Right.
trying to get bigger. And she was trying to minimize and then look smarter by wearing glasses and, you know, toning herself down. And it was like, wow, she really, you know, it really affected her in that way.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Kris Jenner though.
Okay. Yes.
Did you see her whole face makeover? Oh my gosh.
She looks great.
She looks amazing. Like, even they're doing these interviews where people are actually going up to her and they're mistaking her for Kim Kardashian.
It's crazy.
How many years do you think it took off of her? How old do you think she looks now?
20 years.
Well, she's 70. So
Yes.
So
She looks yeah,
amazing.
amazing. I mean, I can't even believe the transformation on that.
Yeah.
But
So
it does look natural, I think.
no, it looks amazing natural. So I guess the controversial question is would you do it? You know, would you get work done to your face to look younger?
Well, I've had Botox.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love
A
it.
little bit of Botox.
Yeah, a little bit of Botox.
A little
never
bit of
kill
Botox.
anybody.
But I mean, I would like to do other things that are more natural. And it's not something I do like every 5 seconds either. But I think it's really about what's good for you and what you want to do and what you're comfortable with. I
Yeah.
don't feel like judging anybody for doing it or not doing it, and I think that's kind of the thing. And then if there's also that movement, like we don't care anymore, we're doing what we
Yeah.
want. And I think
But
that's awesome.
Do you really care?
But I do. But that's my
care.
prerogative. And I think that's the thing, that it's okay to be either way.
Yeah.
Whether it's something you want to do, you don't want to do, you want to age gracefully, naturally, without anything, then more power to you. I mean, you've got, what's her name? Gosh, I can't think of her name. Long hair. She was in the HBO series, The Four Women. Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh, yes.
Can't believe I
yes,
couldn't think
yes.
of her name. I
Sex
knew
and
Sarah.
the City.
Yes, Sex in the City.
Yeah.
And she's aging beautifully, and she hasn't gotten any work done, and she's still got wrinkles a little, and she's doing it. And I mean, I think it's great.
I got a comment the other day. Well, I get this comment all the time, but this one really stood out to me because it was like, I can't believe you're a grandma. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm a grandma of 4 grandkids, and then I have 1 grandkid on the way, right? And the way that they said it, and I'm like, oh, thank you. And they were like, no, like you should look like a grandma. Like they were like, you're disrespecting your grandkids because you look young. And I'm like, well, I am young.
Okay, but wait, tell the baddies about what happened to you from one of our friends before they knew you. When they searched you and they were like, how old are you? And they were,
my gosh,
tell
that
that
was
story.
hilarious. Yeah, so they were like, oh my gosh, they had mentioned to this in a different event, but we were sitting in a board table with them and we're conversating over some other plans that we have going on with them. And I mentioned that I was a grandmother. They didn't really react, I don't think, in that moment. They were just like, oh, that's cool, yeah, And then later on, they told us at an event that we were at, and I have it on film, guys.
This is hilarious.
And they were just like, they said that they were driving home and they were on the phone with each other. And they're like, this girl said she was a grandmother? They're like looking me up. Google her. How can she be a grandmother? And I'm like, she looks so young. What was she,
She
10?
must have had, yes.
She must have been 10 years old when she had her first kid, And it's like, I'm a mom of 5. I have 4 grandkids and 1 on the way. And how am I supposed to look? So again, that's, I guess, in the eye of whoever wants to say that, right? Some people are like, damn, yeah, you're a grandma. That rocks. And then other people are like, you're a grandma. You should look like one. So,
And I don't know what you do with that exactly.
yeah, I don't know how to change that. I'm like, what should I be doing that's more grandmothery?
Yes. I can't have a life.
Yeah.
I can't look good.
So is your appearance an asset or a liability, I guess? In the grandmotherhood, I guess it's a liability.
I think it can be both. I mean, it's kind of, I feel like we're kind of going a little bit in circles talking about this because
Yeah.
I feel like it's a similar conversation, but I think it definitely, it can be both. And it just kind of depends. And I think it also depends on who you're dealing with and how they're dealing with you. So being pretty and getting your looks into a room or in a business deal or a partner or anything, as long as you're being treated fairly and appropriately and not inappropriately, then I think that's fine. But it's where people cross the line and make it uncomfortable and make that something that it shouldn't be, and that's where it's a liability.
I had a conversation with a gal one time, and she was behind the scenes kind of like attacking me and really taking away from my business in a sense. So I called her on it, and I we had a long conversation. This is somebody that I have known for a long time. And I'm like, why would you do this? Or why would you come for me in this way? And she's like, everything comes so easy for you. All you have to do is smile or put on a cute blazer.
A lot of people think that.
You know, and I couldn't even believe, I loved it because I was like, the honesty in that, because nobody gives you the honesty anymore. Like
True.
why they cut you off or why they do certain things to you or against you, right? And the honesty that was there was just so pure. And she was just telling me, and I'm like, and in that moment, I was like, I guess you just don't realize, like, I'm a single mom, like trying to survive in the Silicon Valley. And I was like, and things don't come easy to me. And it was like what you had said in one of the past episodes, like, there's times where it's so hard that I go home and cry and cry and cry because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is hard, you know? Even in that instance, in that certain time that she was doing all of this, my grandmother had passed away. And I remember sitting by her side at her bed, watching her take her last breath, and then an hour later, kissing everybody, and then going to work and going and doing what I do. And, you know, and it's like, that even on the way to going to work, I'm crying and crying and crying. This is somebody that's been a part of my life, helped raise me. And it's like, but I still got to keep pressing on. Living in the Silicon Valley is not something that's easy. Like, people don't realize how hard it is to survive there. I mean, if you're making less than $119,000, you're poverty. You're in poverty over there. And so it's like, you have to keep pushing. You have to keep hustling. There is no sense of comfortableness there, you know? And for her to say that in that, you know, in that situation was really hard, because it's like, you don't know the sacrifices that I have to. You have a husband. You have a husband, and that person also brings in an equal income, and you get to rely on that. And I'm not taking away from that, because that's amazing for you. But why would you do something that harms my business when you know that I am one income in the Silicon Valley, you know, supporting 5 kids at the time that was. She broke down crying over the phone, and she was like, I never realized that. Like, I just didn't see you as that. All I see you is that you get everything you want. And that's what she, you know, her honest conversation with me.
It's like, don't judge the book by its cover.
I think I know we're talking about looks here, but in a humanity sense, I think everybody has their own struggles, whether you're pretty, not so pretty, easy on the eyes, skinny, heavier, you know, whatever it is that you feel like these dilemmas or setbacks are. But every single person in any of those scenarios has their own challenges. And I think people just need to have more empathy for one another, more understanding, and more grace.
Definitely.
Like, more grace. And I'm not saying I needed grace because I was a single mom and you should give me grace because of that. But I think as humanity, we need to have more grace for other people, because you obviously were not on social media crying about what was going on. As a state representative runner, I'm not doing that. So how would people know that, but know that these are happening behind closed doors?
Well, I think that's part of it as women too. We just deal with it. We don't show it necessarily, and we just move on. And nobody ever knows unless we have that conversation with them.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we're here to talk about on the show, is we need to have these conversations, because we need to be able to have that conversation with somebody else who's been through that. And I really like what you're saying about the empathy and just being kinder humans to one another, honestly.
Yeah.
And especially as fellow women, you know, not taking out or judging immediately based on what you see. You know, I try to be nice and kind. I try to every single person that I come in contact with, no matter their, you know, look, their job, their demographic, their anything. And I think that's important.
You know, my daughter, who is 15 years old, she said it best. She was like, you can be extremely gorgeous, But if you have a nasty attitude and you treat humans horribly, it just, no, those looks do nothing for you, you know? And I think it's really about who you are as an inner person. The one thing that I look for in people is not how attractive they are, but how smart are you and how much can we accomplish together? What kind of impact can we have together? And that I feel like is what I am attracted to more. So I also believe that it has to do with the person and what they're, what they've been trained to see. You know, out of what lenses are you trained to see? In the work that I do, it's all about completing projects, creating impact. A lot of times it's about mobilizing a movement. How do you do that? You have to be able to be attracted to people that are able to create that impact no matter how they look. So from the lens that I see people isn't really on how you look, but it is from the lens of how smart are you? How fast can you help complete this project? How much impact can you make? And can we collaborate and create together? And that comes to friends. Anybody that I hang out with, that's what I look for, and that's what attracts me. So that's the eye of the beholder, is how much impact can we make, you know?
But you're looking at it from your lens.
Yeah.
And then we've got all these other people who are looking at it differently. So how do we deal with that? And how do we tell other baddies that are dealing with the situation what they should do?
What's your answer to that?
I don't know. I think it's difficult because in one sense we want to use that, but in another sense we don't. And so what do we do? It's the quintessential dilemma.
Well, what you're saying is basically you and I are playing cards, and I have the better hand, but because I have the better hand, I have to play less.
Yes, exactly. Is that right? That's not right either, right?
I don't think so.
Have you seen the new Julia Roberts movie?
No, which one?
After the King's something. She is a professor at university.
No, I have not heard of this one.
Yes, I think it's a Hulu movie.
Is it out already?
It's out already.
Okay.
So check it out. But she's at basically a party at her house with her husband, and she has her protege, her male protege who's worked for her, and she has a bunch of her students who are at the party, and they're all talking about her and her protege are competing to get tenure and to see who's going to get it first. And one of the students pipes up and says, well, now that we're in the society where women now get the advantage over men, ooh, bad move, buddy. She takes him down. But it's like, okay, let me get this straight. So now you're upset because a woman, after 75 years of men having an advantage over women, now you're mad because for a couple years, a woman has supposedly gets the leg up. So you're going to go and complain about that. And I was like, that says a lot, you know?
Yeah. No, it does. I feel like definitely times are changing for sure. What we're used to seeing and what society is used to being normal is kind of being disrupted in a sense. You know, you're seeing people being able to use social media, podcasting, yay. You know, and they're able to have a voice. And I do feel like people are attracted to people that have something good to say as well, and something that is creating impact and helping them change their lives also. You know what that actually makes me think of? Do you ever know a group of women or a group of people that are like, they only have friends that are good looking? Like you don't ever see anybody that's not good looking with them. I don't even think I would qualify for that group.
Yeah, I mean, me neither. Yes.
I'm on the lower grade of that.
Yes, it's like the photos have to look perfect and everything's, yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that topic alone is just wild. I've been in groups where it's like, okay, literally, can you just step out of the photo and we're going to take the photo? You're too old. I'm too old? What? In my head, I'm 20 years old still.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But yes, it wasn't said like that, but it was kind of like, can you step out of the photo? This is like, we're going to take this photo. And it was like all the skinny minis and the beautiful. I'm like, okay, got it.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever been in that situation?
I'm sure I have. I can't think of a moment though right now. But I was going to ask you, Jacqueline. So, based on your evolution of time and entrepreneurship and business, do you think that now who you're able to be is your real, authentic self?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. But I also had to work through all kinds of things, sacrifice some big sacrifices. I talked to you already about going and giving a presentation like the day after I gave birth to a child, like a human being came out of my body. And like I put in the work. I was boots on the ground. I really was like in the trenches, right? Building my career. So, and now that I'm older, it's so different because I don't feel like, I don't know, it's just different. I feel like people look at me like, oh, you're smart and you do what you're supposed to do, Like you say and you are who you are, But
And
I
you've
feel
already proven yourself. You feel,
yes. So that's why I'm saying, like, geez, I don't know if I could have survived in this world today with social media.
Oh my gosh, and all the filters and the looking perfect all the time and the photos. And I mean, even I feel like my social media is like, eh. But I don't know. They're just my photos.
No, it's interesting. I mean, we live in a whole different world today. I don't think I could have survived this growing up in this society. I mean, in this day and age with social media and the big reach that you have as a teenager if you wanted it. But yeah.
And what about the teens with their needs to feel just like everything that they post has to get like 1 million likes?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's really created I feel a sad atmosphere and just something that's not good.
That I have so much to say on because
yes.
just being a mom of young girls and like what they're seeing as value, I see even in their friends and just in other kids. I mean, look at the high rate of suicide in teens, right?
Yes.
So before, like where I'm from in San Jose, Palo Alto and just other areas, they had a high suicide rate because they weren't getting good grades. Like the achievement was like so much pressure. But today you see people are just getting bullied on social media for the way that they look, for being authentic. Imagine being bullied on social media for being authentic, for going to school how you think looks good for you. Yeah, for your style. And also not having the likes. Like how many teenagers are so depressed, like on medication
literally.
depressed because they do not get 100 likes or nobody commented on their photo. And I'm just like, I see so many kids these days just living in a virtual reality world, It's like you're not outside playing, you're not learning to do things, like boredom. You just sit there. I remember being with somebody and they're like, kids aren't meant to go outside. And I'm like, what? What do you mean kids aren't meant to go outside? Your children go outside, But that statement alone like said a lot. It was, the suicide rates up. People, I feel like young kids don't have purpose. And for me, that is actually what triggered the Yes nonprofit. So we started the nonprofit because at my daughter's school, there was a couple suicide attempts that had happened. And these kids were sent to like
alternative school.
What is it called? Where they're in these suicide watch.
Oh,
I forget what that hospital's called.
Like a mental health.
Mental health, yeah.
Yeah.
So they were sent there, and I'm just like, what is happening here? Like, how is this here?
Why?
Is this nationwide? And the more I looked into it, I went on a whole rabbit hole looking for it, And what I was seeing was like social media brain, no purpose in life, and all of that. And I just remember, like, even me as a youth, I had so much purpose. I was always an entrepreneur. Like, what can I create? What can I get into? And for me, that was like so important. So we built Yes to be able to offer young students a life of purpose, a way to create, a way to never be financially unfit,
Definitely. I know one of the, at my daughter's middle school, they had a social media account that was created by somebody anonymous. And it was, I can't remember the exact name, but basically it was the exposer. So this person who nobody knew would go around school, and let's say they saw Jacqueline not looking her best that day. Then they would go up, snap a photo without the person knowing.
Yeah.
And then post it and be like, can you believe that Jacqueline, came to school like this with her hair all messed up? And
That's hard.
oh my gosh, it was horrible.
That is
I
so
was
hard.
so like upset.
Mortified. I would be
Yes,
mortified
I
if I'm
was-
13, 14 years old going to school. You're already filled with hormones. You're already feeling like you lack in all kinds of areas.
I mean, middle school is the worst.
Oh,
I mean,
gosh.
it's the
Talk
worst.
about mean girls. That is mean.
That is mean.
That's vicious mean.
Yes, I told my daughter to go and I said, you should expose that person, figure out who it is, do the dirty work, figure out who's doing this, and then expose them for being
Expose
an
them.
asshole. I mean, it's bad.
No, there was I feel like this is at every school though, because there's another school or a few schools here that actually have Instagram accounts for the name of the high school or the middle school. And it's called like the middle school fights. And it posts like people will actually go out of their way to stage a fight so that they can
yes.
video it and then post how this person got beat up. I mean, talk about that is humiliation, bullying, but that's social media. And again, people are looking for any way to get likes. And so that's the society that our kids are growing up in.
Okay, baddies, we're coming to the end of the episode, so we want to hear what you think about this. Does pretty pay? Should we use it to pay? We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts?
Okay, and then also, baddies, tell us about a time where being pretty was a disadvantage for you. You heard my story here. You heard Amber's story. Tell us how it was a disadvantage to you and how somebody else got an opportunity, but you didn't, and it held you back.
Okay, baddies, no matter how you look, no matter your style, you got this. We're with you. Follow us at Baddie Rewrite. Okay, I'm here with the Andy Vasquez. What do you guys think? She did this. Go see her at Angeline DiCarlo in Southtown, right, Andy?
Yes, I'll be there.
She's the best. Y'all go see her. Bye.